Hello and welcome, Disney Infiniteers. This is James from iHeartInfinity.com, and today we'll be taking a look at the brand new Disney Infinity 3.0 character Vision, released alongside Marvel Battlegrounds. So first up, let's go ahead and talk a little about the Vision's background. Vision first appeared in the comics in 1968 in Avengers number 57. In the comics, he was originally created by Ultron as a means to destroy the Avengers, but ultimately he decided to side with the Avengers against Ultron and defeat his former master. He would then go on to join the Avengers and is one of the longest standing members on the team at this point. He was introduced to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Avengers Age of Ultron and will be appearing again in Captain America Civil War later this year. And next up is compatibility. Vision is a Disney Infinity 3.0 character, which means he only works in 3.0. You can't use him in 1.0 or 2.0. Now within 3.0, he's usable in the Marvel Battlegrounds playset, as well as the toy box, which includes Speedway and Takeover. And now let's go ahead and talk about gameplay. And I would refer to Vision as a glass cannon type of character, which means that he can hit very hard, but he can't take very big hits in return. And you'll find that he generally is pretty weak, and if he gets surrounded or ganged up on, he's going to go down pretty fast, but at the same time, he's going to take the enemies down really fast. He has some decent AoE moves to protect himself, and he has a powerful special attack which will help him get out of a lot of difficult situations, although it does not make him invincible. Now you can either use him as close range or long range, and you can pick whichever suits your style. However, I will say his long range tree in particular is extremely powerful and extremely useful. And it's the tree that I decided to go with. However, you definitely can do the melee tree if that is your preference. Now, in terms of skills, he has a couple of combos that he can use. I found that one of the combos is not very effective at triggering his finisher, so I went ahead and got a second one. That was the one I just did where he spun around in a circle. And although both combos are strong, you really are going to want to be able to trigger his finisher move, because it does a significant amount of damage directly in front of him with some splash AoE damage. It's just a great crowd clearing ability, and you're going to get a lot of good use out of it. Now, speaking of crowd clearing, Vision has a second level of his ranged attack, which I'm about to show you, which is absolutely devastating. You can see it just mowed down these enemies really quickly, and the reason I haven't been using it in the video is because if I was using it, he would just destroy all the bad guys and this would be over in a couple of seconds. Now this ability does have a downside. You have to charge it up first, but really it's not much of a downside because you can move while charging it, so you can run away from the enemies, charge it, and then turn around and just spray them with this absolutely devastating solar firepower. It is, quite frankly, one of the most effective ways I've seen of clearing a room outside of special attacks, and it is why I recommend going the ranged attack tree with Vision. It's not quite as effective against bosses for kind of obvious reasons, but it's still going to be devastating. It still does a lot of damage. I think it's a little bit better than Ultron's attack, simply because you can continue to move while using it, and you have a certain amount of control over how long it goes for. But you do, of course, have to factor in the charging time for it, which means you'll be vulnerable for a little bit of time while you wait for it to charge up. But it is absolutely worth that drawback. It will devastate pretty much anything in its path. And I mean, it's not even like that's the only attack he has in his arsenal. He's got his combos, he's got his special attack, which I'll show in a second. There's plenty to do with this character. There's plenty of different ways to play. This is his special attack. He turns super dense. His attacks get super strong. He moves a bit slower, and it is important to remember he is still vulnerable in this state. He still takes damage, just less of it. But you're not invincible. You can be defeated in this form. And still, I do think it's more effective than most of the other characters who have a similar special ability where they just become stronger or faster for a short period of time. In those cases, sometimes it's not very noticeable how big of a difference it is, whereas with Vision, you can absolutely tell this is a stronger version of the character. He is not getting moved. He's going to do plenty of damage. And so I do think it is worth at least a few of your skill points to go ahead and update his special ability with the increased duration and damage, which is not something I always say about special abilities of this category. So at the end of the day, Vision is a strong character, but a fragile one, as shown there by getting defeated by the giant Venom monster. He is a little bit more finesse than you might expect out of a character like this. So he's not really going to run around and just destroy everything unless you decide you want to use his charged range attack all the time, which, I mean, you certainly can. There's nothing against that, nothing stopping you in the gameplay. There's no cooldown on it. There's just the amount of time it takes to charge it up, which is fairly minimal after you level it up a little bit. But that's by no means the only way to play the character, and you can choose to play him as a melee character if you want. So there is variety in this character. There's plenty to recommend here. So let's go ahead and take a look at his skill trees real fast and see what we've got. Now, obviously I've not put very many points into his basic one because there's not much here. You can get your mid-air recovery and you can increase his flying speed, but outside of that, you know, it's the typical health stuff. And you can see his special attack. He's got again, the usual variety: increased duration, increased damage output, increase the number of charges available, how quickly they charge up, and so on. Nothing really huge going on here. Now, his melee tree, obviously I did not explore his melee tree. I did get both combos though. Normally I only get one of these, but I found the first one wasn't very effective at triggering his finisher, as I mentioned earlier, so I went ahead and got the second one. Don't regret it. The second one is much better than the first one is. And here is his range tree. Obviously, I put a ton of points into this. You've got the charge ability on the left side. You've got his finisher on the right side, plus his force push or his energy push. And then the usual powering up and so on. And that is the Vision. I don't think he's the best of the new Marvel characters, but he is still a solid character and a lot of fun to play with. Thank you guys for watching.